Greetings, it's great to see you here. If you enjoy our content, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date with all new videos and updates. Thanks for your support. Eugene turned out to be the very person who had accompanied Christina to the principal's office. Is this considered normal? Christina wondered, her thoughts lingering on the matter. If this is the case, then what should I expect from the others? Eugene briefly briefed Christina on their team's current activities. "Do you know what our office looks like?" he inquired with a hint of sarcasm. "No," Christina replied, "but I'm a bit confused. This meeting room," she gestured around the cozy space they were seated in, "seems quite nice. Is there an issue?" Yes, her mentor acknowledged, it's quite common for newcomers to face this issue. And I'm fairly certain you'll encounter it too. While there aren't any strict dress code rules in our company, I would suggest opting for simpler attire moving forward. "I'm a bit perplexed," Christina admitted, lowering her gaze. "Do you find my appearance off-putting or inappropriate?" I made an effort to choose a professional outfit, and if I may say so, Helena's style is bolder than mine. "I agree with everything you're saying, Christine," her voice softened, "but Elena's work environment differs from yours. Your attire isn't inappropriate, it just tends to attract more attention than necessary. Our company houses around 60 programmers, and I'm sure Elena has mentioned this already, there's only one other woman. And let me assure you, it's not because we're not open to hiring female employees." "Why though?" Christina's head bowed in questioning. "It's a lengthy tale," Eugene responded. "I'd prefer to demonstrate. Join me and I'll guide you through our workspace and introduce you to the team. Each morning, we hold a brief meeting to discuss the progress made the previous day. If you encounter any difficulties, your colleagues are there to assist. Our tasks are collaborative and punctuality is crucial. Transparency regarding your work's current stage is essential." "Understood," Christina nodded. Eugene swung open the door before the young woman. It wasn't all dire. True, his appearance seemed a bit disheveled, a slightly rumpled sweater and jeans. Yet there was an air of sophistication about him. The jeans were evidently from an upscale boutique. Christina also spotted a luxurious watch on his wrist, not to mention the quality shoes. Having an appreciation for dressing well and keeping up with fashion, she was well versed in brands. Another door yielded under Eugene's hand, ushering the girl into a corridor. Across from her stretched an expanse of glass, revealing an expansive room. About 40 desks were scattered throughout the space, occupied by individuals engrossed in their tasks. "And behold, your new office." Eugene grinned, his expression full of mirth. "No cubicles, no partitions. Thankfully, only half the team occupies this area. The rest are situated in the same vicinity a bit further away. Your workspace isn't something to get too attached to. Teams rotate, and workspaces adapt accordingly. Today you're stationed here, tomorrow it might be a neighboring cubicle. The only constant is your laptop." Christine gave a hesitant nod, her unease growing palpable. Spending her days amid around 30 men felt rather daunting, and the characters she observed didn't help. Gazing at her new colleagues through the glass, Christina had to admit Elena's assessment was accurate. Eugene seemed normal, but the others? Her eyes landed on a guy whose hair looked like it had skipped a couple of salon appointments. It was clear he needed a skilled hairstylist's intervention. Then there was someone engrossed in his screen, munching on food without averting his gaze, leaving a trail of crumbs, and occasionally licking his fingers. A hint of distaste crept over Christina's features as she wrinkled her nose. "Now do you grasp what I meant?" Eugene queried. "These are the individuals you'll collaborate with day in and day out. Whether you wish it or not, to thrive here, you'll need to assimilate into our group. And now, I believe I'm getting the hang of it. Christina grinned, her eyes sweeping over Eugene's attire. Fancy clothing with a casual flair. That's how you blend in with the local crowd. And you're far from foolish, Eugene smirked back. Come along, I've arranged a workspace closer to my desk for you. Plus, by the way, our soul lady colleague will also be nearby. Although I can't guarantee you'll be thrilled about that. Eugene, I apologize, but I have another question. Christina interjected. Is it common to address each other by first names, but not use patronymics? Always by first names. Patronymics aren't in our vocabulary, Eugene explained. Even the boss usually goes by just Sergei. And regarding you versus using names, it varies. If we're collaborating closely with someone, we gradually transition to using you. However, if it suits you better to solely be addressed as you, Christina, that's perfectly fine. No, she shook her head. I simply wanted to understand the conventions. There are no strict rules. It's all about being authentic, Eugene reassured. Christina took a deep breath and followed Zhenya into the expansive office, who navigated effortlessly among the desks. Christina trailed behind, acutely aware of the collective gaze upon her. Here, Eugene halted near an unoccupied desk. This is where you'll be stationed. Great, she responded. Now let's acquaint you with the team. You'll get to know the rest as you work together. Several individuals were already making their way toward Christina's workstation. So Eugene began, there are 7 of us now. Allow me to introduce Christina, our new colleague. Meet Victor. He gestured to the guy whose hair had seen better days. Alexander, Nikolai, Sviatoslav, and Zakhar. Christina avoided scrutinizing them too intently. Alexander, Nikolai, and Sviatoslav seemed like typical guys, perhaps a bit eccentric in their own ways, but on the whole, they appeared manageable to work with. She silently celebrated the absence of someone who ate as ungracefully as she had observed earlier. And then there was Zakhar. A faint smile graced Christina's lips. Zakhar was even more impeccably dressed than Eugene, and undeniably handsome. He exuded an aura beyond the ordinary. Finally, he remarked as introductions were exchanged, a beautiful addition to our office. I wasn't sure I'd live to see this day. Christina, it's a pleasure to work alongside you. Don't hesitate to reach out if you need any assistance. Truly any assistance. Christina's cheeks tinged with a slight blush as she offered a shy smile. Thank you, she responded. Inwardly, a sense of jubilation surged within her. While she hadn't previously been part of such large corporations, she was, after all, a programmer. Since her college days, she'd been surrounded predominantly by male peers. And individuals like Zakhar made sense to her. She understood how to navigate interactions with them, how to ask for their aid, when to flash a smile, how to engage them. Working with this type of person was familiar territory. With a contented sigh, Christina reflected on her happiness. While she might be placed amidst an assortment of unconventional personalities, knowing that there were more than just oddballs around put her at ease. She felt capable of handling it. This was a long-sought opportunity she couldn't afford to pass up. Wow, we have a new beauty in our midst. A mocking voice suddenly interjected from behind. Sanya, come on, cut it out, Zakhar intervened. Curious, Christina turned to face her critic. At first, she assumed it was a male. Yet, upon closer inspection, she realized it was a girl. Why, Sanja grinned, I'm merely stating the obvious. It won't be a smooth ride for you, my dear beauty. Our bunch of misfits isn't accustomed to the company of young women. Their behavior might puzzle you. It's fine, Christina responded. They'll adjust over time. I'm Christina. Alexandra here, but everyone calls me Sanya. If you need assistance, just ask, she grinned. Though if you're searching for a shoulder to cry on, I might not be the best choice. I'll keep that in mind, Christina replied. All right, Eugen interjected. Enough chatting, let's get to work. As evening approached and Christina was leaving the office, she coincidentally caught up with Zakar. Seeing someone off, he inquired. Mom, no, Christina answered. No need. That's a shame, Zakar remarked. Why? Do you have a boyfriend? Christina's triumph was evident in her smile. This was precisely what she wanted. Now the challenge was not to reveal her own interest. Perhaps I do, the girl responded. Perhaps I don't. Regardless, you needn't see me off. New job, plenty of new experiences. I'd like some time alone. To think, to collect myself a bit. Understandable, Zakar nodded, especially considering our team is, let's say, an interesting bunch. There's quite a bit to process, so I shouldn't give up just yet. That's up to you to figure out, Christina shrugged. See you tomorrow. Christina finally found herself alone. She had a list of evening tasks ahead, grocery shopping, selecting an outfit for the next day's work, possibly planning for an updated wardrobe. She sighed she'd deal with that later. For now, there were a few obligatory phone calls to make. First, she assured her mother that all was well. Then she responded to Yuri's messages, even though he was getting on her nerves. Christina aimed to maintain politeness. Lastly, she dialed her friend's number. Ella's reception was unexpectedly chilly, passing judgment. Christina inquired, I don't understand why you left. And why couldn't we all gather? To talk, bid farewell. Ella's voice held a mix of frustration and confusion. What difference would it have made, Ella? I'd have spent the whole evening enduring your attempts to persuade me to stay, telling me I could find happiness in the city, that I didn't need to go anywhere. It's all judgment and a lack of understanding. You've never truly wanted to hear me out. Look, I know you love our village, and that's perfectly fine. But that life isn't enough for me. I'm curious, I want to experience new things, see the world. What's so wrong about that? I'm not deceiving anyone, I'm not betraying anyone. I'm just living. And Yura. Ella probed. What about your Yura? Christina retorted with a hint of annoyance. Everyone can sit at home and send me messages about how awful I am for leaving, how I abandoned that poor guy. But what did he do to make me stay? I'm just 150 kilometers away, not on the other side of the planet. A real man would have followed me, tried to convince me to return. But that's not Yura.